It's time to go to the classroom. KBBU, No Ball Better University, brought to you by Qualis Roofing and Construction. So, as I always say, welcome. Class is now in session. All of you that are good students, come on down to the front. All you riffraffs and you wahoos, get to the back or get the hell out of my classroom. I'm getting ready to learn you a little something right now. The Cowboys take on the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday night. And what this offense has to look forward to is, I call him a sicko. There's only a couple of defensive sickos in the National Football League. The Cowboys will be facing one of these sickos this weekend, and Brian Flores. Here's what you have to know about Brian Flores. He gonna blitz you when he get off the plane. He gonna blitz you in the morning. He gonna blitz you at lunchtime. He gonna blitz you at night. He is going to blitz you at every single chance that he gets. That's what Brian Flores wants to do. Brian Flores wants to send exotic blitzes, zone blitzes, man blitzes. He wants to confuse the hell out of the offense. And I know that you can look at the Minnesota Vikings right now and you can say, well, they don't have such a great record. It ain't because of the defense. I can promise you that. Their defense is ranked amongst the top 10. I think they're 8th overall in the National Football League right now. Brian Flores and this defense, he likes smart veteran players. He likes guys who understand his scheme because it can be confusing. He's going to line guys up in the gaps at the line of scrimmage. They're going to bail out late. Linebackers and DNs going to be dropping into coverage. Guys who you think aren't going to be blitzing will be blitzing. It is going to be one of these deals where the Cowboys offensively, Shoddy and Dak Prescott are going to have to be on their P's and Q's. And we've talked about this long before, about the slants that they run when they're in man-to-man coverage. He's going to try to have an answer for that. And these DBs aren't any pushovers. They got some pretty decent DBs out there, and they get good practice because while they don't have a CeeDee Lamb and a George Pickens, they got a Justin Jefferson, and they don't get much better than Justin Jefferson in this league. So these DBs get practice every single day against going up against one of the best wide receivers in the league. All right, John, let's go to the tape. So one of the things I want to talk about that I think that the Cowboys should be on a lookout this weekend, this Sunday night, is what we call a cross dog blitz. This is where your linebackers are, it's self-explanatory, right? Cross dog is they're crossing in the A gaps. One's going to go in one A gap, the other is going to go in the other A gap. And what they want to do is, Brian Flores, he wants to confuse the offensive lineman. He wants to confuse the count. So you look at this picture right here. Those are your two linebackers. Now, normally they'll line up the linebackers, and I'll show you that on the next clip, in the A gaps. This time they're running the cross dog blitz from depth. Now, when you go and look at this thing, man, these are the two linebackers that they're going to be focused on, that'll be doing the cross dog blitzing. But here's how they confuse you. It's because they begin this process with, all right, let's do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. So most quarterbacks come up and go, 5 guys down. These are the 5 guys that we have. Right here at Washington, they use a little bit of a motion to kind of get an indicator. All right, what are they in? They send a tight end in motion. Nobody follows him, so that's a clear indicator that what? It's zone coverage. But now with zone coverage, they're looking at, all right, here's what this cross dog is going to look like. Because before the ball was snapped, they did a 5-on-5 count. That tackle goes out, the guard goes out, the center's going to the third guy on that side. The back 2 guys, they're going to take those other back 2 guys, and now the quarterback and the running back has these 2 guys in the middle. Normally you have a back come in there and pick up that blitz, and the quarterback has to beat the other linebacker with the throw, right? So now you see this thing right here, and now they go, ball is snapped. Here's what they want. They want the confusion. They want the line to see one thing and make a count, and then after the count, they want to bring this cross dog blitz. So when you go back and you see it, that first linebacker pace, he comes into what would be one A gap. The other linebacker loops around him. And now they would have a pretty good play set up right here. Throw it out to the running back. He's supposed to be able to beat that, but the receiver on the outside got beat on the block and didn't go for pretty much. But you see, this is where they want to make that confusion because it looks like it's 5 down linemen. So we go 5 for 5. And normally, if the linebackers aren't mugged up into the offense, to the line of scrimmage, they're considering those guys just regular drop zone guys, especially when the tight end went in motion and nobody followed him. They're thinking, all right, those guys are just going to be in their drop zones. And so they confuse the offensive line right there. They make the ball come out quick. Guys can't get on their blocks. and they don't get much in this particular play. Now, go to the next play. Same thing right here. Now you look up there and you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. And what's going to happen is you have your 2 guys who are lined up, we call it mugged into the defensive line in the A gaps. The guy on the end is Harrison Smith, a smart veteran safety. He's going to get out of there. But again, quarterback comes to the line. The offensive line are now making their calls, right? Center is saying, we're going here, we're sliding, we're going 5-on-5, whatever it may be. But here's where they want to confuse you. Again, because now you look up here and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're saying to themselves, we got 6 for 6. 5 offensive linemen, 1 running back. We can pick this up because Harrison Smith has backed out of there. This is what they want you to believe. Now, here's how they want to confuse you. Again, a cross dog. They're going to have one guy come in and he's going to go into the center and the other guy's going to wrap around, and they want the center and the running back to jump to one guy. If they jump to one guy, then that means there's another guy coming free. And now as you see this plays happen, the center and the running back are confused. This is going to be imperative for Cooper Beebe and Javonte Williams being able to communicate where we're going. Now, it makes it a little bit more difficult because normally, if you had one guy mugged up in the A gap, the center would normally say, I'll take the most dangerous, and then you'll have the back, what we call scan protection, is that now the center takes the most dangerous, and the back is now able, because he's set off the line of scrimmage, to be able to scan through and pick up any loose chains that might be coming through the offensive line. But when they're mugged up in the A gap, you tell me who's the most dangerous. You don't know. So there needs to be a clear delineation between who's the most dangerous, which way I'm going and shifting and turning, and how the back has to pick that up. They don't do it properly right here. And you see, I don't care what era, I don't care what quarterback, I don't care what team. No quarterback wants pressure coming down the pike.
In their face.
They don't want the pressure in their face. They can handle it from the outside. They can handle it from other gaps. But when it comes down the middle, that's where they are most susceptible to either dropping their eyes and not looking downfield. I can't follow through on the pass. I can't get the ball out quick. So for me, the Cowboys have to be on their P's and Q's, because Brian Flores will send many different blitzes. He's going to send many different configurations, many different disguises. But one of the things that they want to get home with is with the cross dog blitz. As you saw, they're going to run it from depth. They're going to run it from those guys mugged up in the A gaps, and that center and that running back, they have to be on the same page. And they're going to try to confuse the Cowboys up front. They're going to try to confuse the quarterback, and he is going to have to make sure that they are always on their P's and Q's. I believe that the offense for the Cowboys, they need to have the quick game, the screen game in full force and in play this weekend against this Brian Flores defense, because if you don't have an answer for the way that he blitzes in these guys, and especially for a cross dog blitz, you will find yourself in some serious, serious trouble. So that's what we're looking at. That's one of the things that I found out when I was watching film. Brian Flores and his many different disguises, the cross dog blitz is one that they run, and they run it successfully. And I can almost bet your bottom dollar they're going to run it against the Cowboys this weekend. They better be ready for it. That's KBBU for you right there, man.